What's going on, music fans of the internet? Welcome back to last week's album where we're talking about good music. I am Derek.
And I am Kevin.
And before we kick things off, let's start like we always do, Kevin. And those of you listening at home, cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy a beer.
This week we are reviewing Shulamith by Minneapolis, Minnesota's own Poliça. Shulamith is the second album from this band following 2012's Give You the Ghost. This band is comprised of two drummers, Benny Vasco and Drew Christofferson, Chris Bearden on bass, and Ryan Olson, who does synths, beats, and other production, and also, last but not least by any stretch, Channy Laneef, the star vocalist here. All right, so Kevin, why don't you kick us off with what you think Shulamith sounds like?
All right. I think that Shulamith by Poliça sounds like the XX meets Sarah McLachlan meets T-Pain.
All right.
As we get in, that'll all make sense to everyone.
Oh, Kevin, I like it. I'm going to take a different route here. I think Shulamith by Poliça sounds like an autobiographical electro dance pop opera, or wearing your heart on the sleeve of your best clubbing shirt or your coat if it's in Minnesota and you happen to be outside. Point goes to you, sir. All right.
Longest sounds like ever.
All right, so we keep it up. What are your key tracks?
Sure. My key tracks are Vegas and Tiff. What about you?
My key tracks, I agree with you on Tiff, but I went with Chain My Name as my other key track. Chain My Name being the album opener, all kicks off there. This one kicks off with an angular, almost robotic-sounding synth hook, chill, steady bass line, bass snare drum beat, augmented with numerous drum machine beats and other ambient sounds. The track ebbs and flows very well. I thought even in the sparser moments, the intensity never dropped from the level that it started and ended with. The lyrics present a stark, nay, dark or dreary view on the harsh realities, outcomes of love, but they're delivered in a very catchy beat and mesmerizing vocal melodies, so it softens the blow and just keeps your head bobbing. All right, Kevin, why don't you tell us about your key track?
Yeah, my first one is called Vegas, and it's got these pounding drums, whirring synths, echoey vocals, and this really crazy synth and pounding drum hook that together work really, really nicely to reel you right in. Great vocal melodies and very minimal effects here, as opposed to some of the other songs where Channy puts a lot of effects on her voice, hence the T-Pain reference earlier. And then it has this really sort of very minimal, trippy ending of these spacey blips and pings, which I don't know why, for me, they add something to the song, even though they're not necessarily part of the music, if you will. But overall, just a really nice jammy track that ebbs and flows really, really well. And a great line as well, I'll mention, better to sleep through the sunrise than to stumble sleeping through the nightlife, which I really enjoyed. So check it out for yourselves. Derek, I think we both agreed on Tiff, correct?
That is right. Do you want to start us off?
No, I will throw it back to you.
Damn it. All right, Tiff. First and foremost, features the backing vocals of one Justin Vernon, a.k.a. Bon Iver, who was also on a recent album we reviewed earlier. That was Kevin?
That would have been, oh, God, you're going to put me on the spot. It's called, oh, my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Can't believe you're doing this to me.
I'm right there with you. That's why I kind of did it.
Wait. You keep talking. I will look it up.
Tiff. Sounds a muddy bass line, large metered drum blast, and what I thought downcast, hazy synths, what kind of culminated into what I thought sounded like a dark hip-hop sci-fi movie soundtrack, if there were such a thing. The lyrics were very interesting as it was kind of talking about a girl writing a letter to herself and really kind of calling out some faults, if you were. Basically, Tiffany or Tiff is kind of a bitch. Kevin, do you have that answer for us already, or what?
Yeah, I do. It was Repave by Volcano Choir. Obviously, we should read up on our stuff more often. But yes, were you done there with your take on the track?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. You mentioned Tiff is kind of a bitch. She's actually playing the role of the lead singer's or lead character's vanity, if you will. One of the most gruesome, alarming music videos you will probably see this year, if not ever. Check it out. But yeah, it's oddly very kind of sexy, even though it's very sort of violent and angry in tone. The sound of it, the beat, the synth, the bass are all very sexy. It's almost chopped and screwed, but way more thoughtful than that simple effect. And yeah, just I think it's kind of what it might feel like to get knocked out and then just in slow-mo fall backwards and see things spinning. That's what this song sounds like to me. Take it as you will.
All right. I think you summed it up perfectly right there. It's almost like getting knocked out, but like, you know, taking it for the standing count and getting out of the round. Too bad we can't be Saved by the Bell in this context. Best lyric. I'll kick it off first. This comes from a song called Smug, where she's kind of talking to this guy who's trying to two-timer all this, and she says, "It's really quite confusing. You're pushing me away, and then you're pulling. You wear smug so well." Just kind of a cool line there, and it's just I thought a lot of times just really captured a lot of emotions in very small phrases very well, such as she did here.
I also liked this sort of ending to that line a lot too. She says,
"Yeah,
you wear smug so very well. If you were in love with me, I could never tell." That was a very strong lyric as well.
Yeah, however, I didn't know where to begin or end picking out on that one.
Yeah, it's a good verse all in all. My best lyric, however, comes from Very Cruel, and it goes, "Now that we both can't sleep, I see you in my dreams." And overall, this album is kind of dreamy and hazy at times, so I thought that kind of summed it up pretty well.
All right. There you go. So, overall rating. Kevin, what say you?
All right. Put me on the spot. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I really dug this. I think these guys have a very interesting, unique sound, especially considering the sort of minimal instrumentation they use, just vocals, bass, 2 drums, and a lot of effects. But they use those very well without it getting too old or too samey throughout the album. Great production, and at first it kind of sounds a little similar, but I think once you get into their sound, it gets very, very much better with each listen. So
it gets much better. All right. Sorry, Kezia. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Really dug their sound as a whole. I thought they really hit their strong points in some of the upbeat tunes, such as "Change My Name." However, I think the album had a lot more slower, darker tunes that just didn't capture my attention as well. But lyrically, I thought it was very strong. I thought as you mentioned, the production, the instrumentation was great. Channy's vocals, I thought, were awesome. On one of my notes here, I said vulnerable yet radiating power at the same time. When it's distorted, affected, or not, just I thought her vocals were fantastic. But I think that, I'm really excited to see where they go from here. So that's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. So there you have it, people at home. Poliça Shulamith, a 4 and a 3 out of 5 from Kevin and I, respectively. Thanks again for joining us at last week's album. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube blog and tell us what you think. Thanks again for joining us.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.